And hello everyone. Here we are waiting for the first round of Adriana's tournament. She'll be playing 4 rounds today. I am Chess is Simple and will be commentating her games. Now, as I was saying, I was just seeing if everything is working alright, but it seems we have everything. Now, whether she'll be playing with white or black, we'll have to adjust the camera a minute. Let me also cut this a little bit. That is better. Alright, so today it is going to be 4 rounds. I'll be commentating, and then another three. Luca Pontirali will be commentating, I think. So it's going to be quite a lot of chess for Adriana. I'll be trying to commentate without an engine, and we'll see how that goes. What you see over here on top will be the chessboard soon, but we still haven't published them on chess.com. Otherwise, let me know if you are there in the chat so I can check if I can see your messages, of course. I would like to talk to you all as we go into this journey. I will just switch on my air conditioning. Keep sipping my coffee as we wait for the last minutes of before Adriana starts. It will be lots of chess, played at a fast pace. So let me see if we can see the players. 16 titled players, more than 700 euros in prizes. So yeah, it will be a tough event. Okay, the players are not yet out, but alright. Sometimes there is a little bit of a delay in organizing. It is normal for a tournament to start slightly later, but in any case I will propose we do a morning puzzle rush, worst case scenario. So I can also adjust the board maybe. Let me see. Okay, we can do it like this. So yeah, just as we wait for Adriana's tournament to start, of course, we can do a bit of puzzle rush. We are doing survival. So okay, we have all the time in the world, but we can only make 3 mistakes. So the first ones are more or less automatic. There we are. Take on g7. Check. It will be mate soon. Check, check and mate. Alright. F5. You could give a check. Takes. Okay, already getting Anna. Checkmate in 1. Checkmate in 1. Check and checkmate. Check g6. We're also seeing you on YouTube. And let us check one thing. If I can see us on Chess TV as well. Alright. So we are waiting for the tournament to start. As you can see, the people are close to sitting down soon. And let us see. 20 plus 10 is a time control I enjoy, just because it's a bit quicker, moves a bit quicker, so you know there is quite a lot to talk about. Things change quite quickly. Otherwise, you know, if when you play slow games, they, as the word says, they develop quite slow. Anyway, let us get back to our puzzle rush. We are just getting into it. There we are. This is a typical back rank checkmate. By the way, this afternoon it will be Shivaita who will be commentating. So shout out to the other Italian streamer, of course, Luca Pontiroli. And yeah, hope you have fun on this Sunday morning. Okay, we aimed a queen. So what am I doing? Knight h8 is not it. 95, good. Bishop out and queen checkmate. Already trying to be a bit more careful because we're getting slightly harder. I could take the rook. For starters, I could take the rook. Soon, of course, we'll be showing the game. We are just getting ready for all the action. So, okay, if I give a check, I take the queen. Let's see. Rook d1 could be one move. Yeah. Rook d1 and take the knight, please. Here there is a typical checkmate. There we are. Smothered checkmate. Checkmate in one. We are getting into the rhythm. Okay, I'm going this way with black, which is a bit strange. There. Very good. Soon the tournament will be starting, do not worry. We will have lots of chess to cover today. Check and take. Check. Deflecting the defenses. Okay, we have a double attack. Take, I could take here. I think I should. And that's a free queen. This is check, check, and mate. Here, I think I must sack the rook. And rook b1. What shall we do? Should we take with the rook or with the queen? Should we take with the rook or with the queen? I think the rook. And what to do? Check, check, take. Okay, check. And then it was rook c4, checkmate. I can see they're getting ready to sit down soon. Wait a minute. Check, take, check, mate. There it is. Okay, bishop here. Should trap the queen, but he can take. And it doesn't trap the queen. Because there is g5. Okay, let us see. If we go bishop here, queen here. Oh, take. Let's say queen here. Bishop e7. There's queen f4. Say I go h6. h6. So, okay. Okay. Adriana is getting ready to sit down. Looks like she has the black pieces today. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be an interesting game for her. Yes. So there she is, sitting down with the black pieces. Let us, of course, go to events or current events. Spanish Youth, Shamaki, Title Tuesday. Okay. Just a minute. Right. So, also, let us adjust the video slightly. Yeah, friend saying hello. Okay. Let's see if we can. Okay, I'm not sure we can catch the guy's face in the video. Or maybe yes. Ah, it's okay, we're making a bit of a mess. It's a young person in the video. Sorry, we are just adjusting for a moment. And yeah. That should do it. So, okay, let us get back here. Motilla. Feel. Okay. All right. Oh no. Okay. We will stay here with it. As you can see, we have a YouTube video as well. Let me go and check the chat on YouTube. And let me also There it is. That is perfect. They're just waiting for the game to start, I think. Here on the top you will find a chessboard soon. You will, of course. Now I see the messages on YouTube. Buenos días. Tú también. Okay. Wait a minute. We already have moves. Great. Okay. Let us get the board in. Right. So, hello everyone. What to do, what to say, let us see. Okay, she's paying a 1500. Let's put the board in her direction, or not? Can we not flip? Yeah. So, she's playing solid, of course. This is a typical chess Spanish opening. You have a6, asking his bishop what to do. And of course white has two options. He can take, or he can go back. Let us see, he took, takes, knight c3, alright. There is quite a famous trick. If knight takes, we have queen d4, very good move, attacks the two of these. So okay, bishop d6, d4, take, and f6. I imagine this is still theory. f6. I must say I don't know this position, but as it was played quickly, I think it is still theory. We have to defend this pawn. If we go knight f6, there could be e5 business. So f6, knight e2. Knight e2 going back, and Adriana takes her first thing. So, what to say about the position? We have the two bishops with black, especially this light squarish bishop does not have a counterpart. But we have this slightly compromised structure. So okay, bishop g4. And what happens if e5? First question. I guess you take on f3, take on d6, and you should be fine with black. Interesting line already. Tell me what you think about this in the chat. Okay, bishop f4 played. Nearly immediately. White wants to exchange pieces. Okay, so on e5, bishop f3, take d6. There probably was bishop g2. Something like this. This would have been interesting. Also, you could have... Okay. But let's get back to the game. Bishop f4. Asking for a trade of pieces. Wait. Okay, the queen is okay. Because I would have a small trick. If I take on f3, you take back, I take. Now if you take, you lose your queen. But of course you can take with check. And here the position would be more or less equal. So bishop f4, Adriana is considering her options. I would probably just develop with knight e7. Have to check if long castles annoys us. But now we have bishop f3. This is a trick, and take with check. Oh no, maybe not, because the queen now is defended. We don't want to give up our bishop in most cases. So the game has started. Tell us, send us a message in the chat telling us what you think about this bishop f4 move by her opponent. Quick drink, quick breakfast. Okay, so Adriana is already thinking quite a lot. Yeah. Probably, me being a practical player, I would just go knight d7. If I don't see anything wrong with it. So, what can you do after knight e7 with white? I suspect long castles is the plan. And yeah, maybe we just need to exchange some stuff. Need to take with a rook. Rook d8. d1. Something like this, but actually it's not that easy to win. So I understand what the problem is. Opponent has found a way to provoke mass simplifications. So yeah, not that easy to play with black pieces if we want to win. Let's see what she is going to invent. Otherwise maybe we can go queen e7. Not developing the knight for a moment. Say castle long, we also castle long. We create a threat of taking here, but here there is queen a7. Queen a7 infiltrating, so this is not possible. We can go c5 maybe. This is actually quite a typical move. c5. is trying to gain some time. I imagine queen d3. Queen d5 is also possible, but yeah, even knight e7 could be interesting. Giving up a pawn like this. Okay, do we have a move? Maybe? Do we have a move? Okay, so Adriana took on f4. And, okay, took with a knight on f4. Not worried. Bishop takes f3. She goes into this ending. Queen takes d8. What do we take with? We take with a rook. Gf3 and king f7. Okay. Liberating the space for a knight. I don't mind how Adriana has played, but it is risks going into a simplified endgame, which might be a bit hard to win. So, okay, white plays king e2, I think. And we develop. We do actually have one less pawn island with black, which could be good. The principle of pawn islands is that, you see, this is one pawn island, this is two because they're not connected between each other, and this is three. The principle is that in end games, particularly, he or she who has the most pawn islands is a bit worse. So you want to have less pawn islands in the end game. In the middle game, where you have piece activity and other stuff, this doesn't matter that much. When you go towards an end game like this situation, it can be an issue. Also here we could go rook d6. This is always an option to sort of fix the structure, but okay, knight e7 looks so natural. So okay, white is actually thinking. Also, this knight is slightly dominated because it does not have this square. Could do like this, and we wouldn't give him much squares. So this knight by black needs remaneuvering. We could do something like this with black, and if knight takes, we take with a pawn, opening another line for our rooks. Maybe this is slightly unpleasant to play with the white pieces. I don't mind this approach. It is quite a simplified thing, but it might work out. What do you think, chat? Percentage-wise, what is the chance Adriana wins this game? Is she winning? Hello, Il Gambler. It is difficult to know yet. I think the position is more or less equal right now. But anything can happen, I guess. So do we have moves? King e2, knight e7, as I said. Okay, also the clock times, which you can see. Adriana is slightly down on time, but it shouldn't be an issue for now. So, percentage-wise, white's king and rooks look bad to you. Well, the king actually, okay, judo master. The king is not that bad as it is centralized. The rooks, of course, are not that great, but they will come and exchange themselves, probably. What has white played? Rook ad1, yes. Yes, rook ad1. Rook d6. Okay, yes, white could play this improving their structure, we thought. Yeah. Interesting. Now if white takes, at least black says I don't have doubled pawns anymore. And you can try cook from this position. Maybe get some space. Need to find a good square for a knight. Let's see. Rook d6. Still thinking. 70% good endgame, yes. I more or less agree. 70, even 80%. Black is slightly better. And also there is a rating difference of more than 400 elo points. Okay, Judo Master, I'm here to give you insights, so do not worry. I'm very happy if you communicate in the chat and talk about the position. So, okay, white takes. This is the thing about trades. Not all trades are good. Sometimes low-rated players will just trade pieces against the stronger player no matter what. So, okay, rook d8. Times are evening out. And what to say? Seems not that bad. Seems quite good. So, by the way, if you like what we are doing here, if you want to come and follow me on Chess is Simple on Twitch or YouTube, of course, feel free to. Back to the game. Rook d8 defending the pawn, and white has to make a move. White has to make a move, and it's not that simple, maybe. Black will try and improve their knight. Where can the knight go? I think I will go g5 first of all. So let's see. h4. Trying to stop g5. Fair enough. What do we do with black? What do we do with black? Any ideas on how to improve a position in the chat? Any ideas of what to do to try and put a bit more pressure on white? Of course, you know, one of the main things which are required in this sort of situation is patience with the black pieces, meaning we need to play a long game and tire out our opponent. So, first thing actually is whether or not to play g5. g5, because if you take, now I have a passed h-pawn I can use. This is already, I think, quite good for black. And on, say, knight g2, I could go h5 and knight g6 in the future. Knight g2 also is a terrible piece. So, I feel like g5 is the sort of move which plays itself. f4? f4, what do you mean, Judo Master? You mean this knight? Knight c8, knight b6, yes. Yes, of course we can try and improve our knight. That is one of the main parts of grind. Yeah. The problem is that maybe the knight on b6 can be dominated with b3, but maybe then you want to come back. Yeah, I'm sure she's considering all of these options. I have to say I like g5 very much. Because say you go knight d3, I can take the pawn. Maybe. H1, I can go knight g6, f4. Okay, not super clear this line. Maybe I shouldn't take the pawn immediately. Maybe I should go knight g6. If h5, I could not that sure actually. I could try maybe knight f8. Okay, many options. g5, not the only move, of course. So let's see if we can see maybe the chat on Chess TV, if it is possible. So Adriana is thinking, quite an important moment. Has Adriana played? Let's see. Okay, she is thinking. Important moment here. I wanted to check if I can see the chat on Chess TV. So let us see. I will be with you in a second. I'm trying. I will be with you in a second. I'm trying. Okay. So here we are back to a situation where we are waiting for a move. Adriana, of course, is slightly better. She needs to get the most out of this position. Maybe knight c8 is a good move. It makes sense. Maybe also getting the king closer. Okay, instead, let us see what happens on g5. But maybe we don't need to be that quick with g5. We've got time. Although it does present itself once the opportunity, because we might be able to go h5. You might be able to go h5 with black. So okay, let's say g5, knight d3, h5. Rook h1, king g6. So we have a move. Knight g6. Okay. Trying to see if black wants, if white wants a rook endgame. Interesting choice. Interesting choice, I would say. Let's analyze a bit. What if we take... What is she planning to take with? Both captures are interesting actually. Pawn takes. Might give way to rook h8. Only problem being we have 1 and 2 slight weaknesses. Which means that even if white goes king e3, rook h8 you cannot do because of rook d6. So say you defend the pawn, then we go rook g1. So I don't think this is very effective, taking the pawn. So king takes maybe, then you give a check. King h6 looks a bit strange, but could be possible maybe. This could be a plan. So okay, trying to see if... Also, black does not have... White does not have much choice. I mean, they can go knight g2, defending the pawn, but otherwise we need to take. After knight g2, I think you would be quite happy. You could even go h6, h5. Black is in quite good shape. So I'm expecting knight takes g6. King takes maybe. Rook g1, king h6. Say f4. g6. King f3 maybe. d5 is possible. Yeah, d5 is another move we should consider sooner or later. So... Okay. After this knight exchange, I feel like it is pretty drawish. But... who knows? Maybe opponent will be of help. I'm not super sure about this decision. I might have kept knights on the board just because here I don't see anything concrete. Say king e6. Yeah. Okay, we could go d5 maybe. But rook g1, this is so annoying. I have to go back. Rook goes back, and I don't really see a way out of this mechanism. Let's d5 always, maybe. Because of course, if you take, I mean, you've made your structure even worse. Okay, we have knight takes d6. Okay, she takes with the king. Interesting idea. So... yeah, I think I would expect rook g1 check. King h6. And f4 maybe. g6. King f3 even. d5 though. This was what we were looking at. And this might create some problems. Because rook d1 is not possible. No, okay. Maybe rook g1 is not forced. But otherwise king h5. And if you have to go passive with rook h1, I always have this d5 idea. So okay, rook g1, king h6. Let's say that black is slightly better, and it is easier to play a position where you're slightly better than a position than where you're slightly worse. So I don't mind this approach actually. If you take with the king, this is interesting. I think she will find a way to win because of a rating difference. But otherwise, objectively, what is white supposed to do? Okay, I could go f4 and then f3 simply. Say g6. Go king e3 this time. King h5 though. Okay, pawn is still undefended. Maybe f5. g5 though. But here we can take and give it check. 5 take. Point is I want to go rook g7. Yeah, some sort of activation of this kind, I think, should be necessary, but it's not easy then. So we're saying f4. Okay, let's say instead of g6 we go rook d7, defending the pawn. This creates another set of problems actually. Yeah. Huh. Pawn is a bit weak. Okay, what did he play? He played c4. Okay. c4, I think I expect rook d7 by black. Or otherwise, chat, what is your preferred move? What do you think you would do here? Oh, she's already played. Has she? Oh, sorry. Rook e8. Okay. This I didn't think of. Trying to get an activation of a rook. Makes pretty good sense, maybe, rook e8. Now Adriana will have a chance to put pressure for a long-lasting time. So I fancy her chances. White will have to deal with problems in the long run for a long time. So yeah. Rook d1. This, of course, is an option. This, of course, is an option. Rook d1, rook e6. Okay. Rook e6. What to do with white? White is threatening king h5 sooner or later. Hi Dark Shad. What is up there? Oh, and by the way, I need to get my computer charger. Give me 1 second. 1 second, I will be with you. Here we are. So, Adriana is thinking, what has happened? King e3 and king h5, exactly. Now, it is not easy, because if we have to go rook h1, but we have this move king f4 actually, which is played. Jeez, he has played this h6 and she wants to go g5. Why if I go king f5 then? Check, king f4. Oh, okay, I'm not sure. If I go king f5, you need to keep this defended. Check, king f4. g5 maybe actually. hg, fg, king e3. No, this is good. This is good. Okay, so things have happened. Rook g1. Rook g1, rook g1, rook g1. Rook g1 maybe is a bit better than rook h1 just because it stays active. g5 anyway, yes. I do think g5 is a good move. Let us check. g5, king f5. This actually asks a small question. Say we give a check, king f6. Taking is not possible because this is checkmate. But if take with a pawn, then... Actually, I'm not sure about this situation. It's a very strange situation the king is in. So, yeah, we have h3 and so on and so forth. Let's see what she did. g6. I was wanting to mention this move. It's just a waiting move. g6. To see what your opponent does. It's a technical move. You mean rook g5 after... I mean I take, and then rook g5 is the move, yes. Yes, this could well be good for black. But I do also like g6, just waiting. Giving your opponent the chance to burn time, to go wrong. Exactly, Daksha, the patient move. As we were saying before, we do need to be patient in these sort of endgames to take some mistakes out of our opponent. So I do not mind at all king g6, sorry, pawn g6. White could rearrange with king g3. But we can still think about going g5. We could even try and look for some activation with the rook maybe. Although any activation gets stopped in its tracks. So actually king g3 probably a decent move. Probably g5. There's even rook h1 here. Point is, I want to take on g5 with check and make you take with the king, so that I can go f4. So you go king g6, or even go h5 and try to fix your pawn structure. Then I come with a rook on d1 and I just stop all your play. Don't know. Okay, but you see, this was the good thing about g6. White has used like 2 minutes of his time already, and we have to say White has played quite a good game so far, but you know, in theory, as White goes down on time, he should his quality of chess should go down, just because of his rating. And yeah, exactly, Dark Shad. I think we can all learn an important lesson from this. That rook e5, that these patient moves often are useful in these endgames. Also, they highlight to your opponent they cannot do much. Rook e5. Trying to go for g5 under favorable circumstances, I think. It's hard to come up with a winning plan for White here, yes. But even with a drawing plan is not that simple. Rook d1. Yes, of course this is possible. What did he play? Yeah, he played rook d1. Okay. You are guessing all the moves, Dark Shad. g5 with check. So should we take or should we not take? I feel like we should take. And now the big question comes. What pawn to take with? You're about his level, yes. Fair enough, fair enough. It's a good level. It's just that Adriana is a bit higher rated. FG. And you see already now we have an outside passed pawn. I expect king g3. And then we go rook e6. Also, we put all the pawns on this fourth rank. So it's just most obvious for me what... Okay, I see what you mean, yeah. Probably not right. I don't know, you know. These endgames are difficult for anyone. Okay, king g3 played. Yeah, I was saying that also... Yeah, it's not easy. Rook e6, defending. And passing the ball into our opponent's court. King g6. Can we try c5? Not sure. Not sure. Something like this. Okay, this might be holdable. Of course, I made 100 moves. c5. Maybe it would have been a long-term weakness. King g4. Okay, rook f6. Cutting off the king. Rook d1, h5, king h3. Ah, we've broken through, you see. What is king h3 though? What is king h3? We have moves, but why did white not want to go king g3 and defend this pawn? Very strange moment. Okay, now black is a pawn up and he should just win. She should just win, of course. Can even go g4. And then just play to activate the king. Okay, good job. Good psychological pressure put on by Adriana as well this game. Is gonna struggle to counter my queenside's problem, yes. And of course now you're a pawn down. It is not easy. Okay, is there any other way we can improve our position before going g4? Is the question. I don't really see it, to be honest. Just g4, take. Maybe you have to try c5, but take, king g5. And even if you go rook d7 and I go king f4. Okay, here maybe I'm getting into a bit of hot water. Maybe c5 is a source of counterplay. Okay, g4's been played anyway, take, and now I think white should play c5. c5, which forces us to take, and he does. And he does. Take. I think is needed. Okay. Still a rook endgame. Of course, white has 3 pawn islands. Maybe rook e6 is most professional. Now if you go rook d7, rook e4, rook b7, there's rook c4. Rook b6 though. Still not that easy. bc. Okay. Here. Okay, let's say we go rook f7. He could be finished. Yeah, he could finish his time, but we have 10 seconds increment. Maybe rook f7 here is actually quite important. Trying to get my king to e5. King g3, of course, is possible. Yes. There is a little bit of counterplay here. What do we do with black? Important moment. Important moment here, because white is getting slight counterplay. Okay, Adriana goes rook f7, and I expect to see king g3 on the board. What has he done? Wait. He's given a check. e5. This I like less. This I do not like so much. Can I not just go king f5, e6, rook e7, rook d7, and king takes, right? Okay, rook e7, maybe even better. And now we all fall. Okay, now this should win because it's 1, 2, check, and 3. And we'll be in a 2 against 0. Man wants to win, maybe yes. Maybe that is why he tried to. Yeah, it should be over because now he's 6, king f6. You lose up another pawn and you can't even, take. I'm threatening to take here. Oh, did he lose on time? No. Okay, went king g3. And now, as I was saying, we take everything, no? Yeah, she takes it. He goes rook d7. But now we take. You give a check, check, and take. And we should win this game quite easily. Good job by Adriana. Yes, she takes. Rook b7, check. Check. Or even king f4, but... rook g7 first. Okay, king f5 is good. You can't even take because I have check. Or you can, but... We still are playing a 3 against 1, so... Yeah. These rook endgames are the bane of 1500s to 1800s. Well, I mean... Even players of much higher level make mistakes in these rook endgames. Don't worry. Don't worry that it happens often to even the top levels. So maybe Carlsen is the only one who doesn't make mistakes in these sort of positions, but Carlsen is the GOAT, of course. Carlsen is the best of them all. Okay, she went king h5. Oh, because she wants the trick. I see. Okay, rook takes g4. This is over. Check. Check. And this is finished. Okay, nice finishing trick by Adriana. Yeah, ouch. Okay, and she wins the game. Opponent resigned. So first game gone. Good game. And yeah. Very good job first game. We see her getting up. And yeah, good technical performance there. So I'll be back with you in just a moment. Donde en España, te lo voy a decir en un momento. Donde en España. Motilla Rapid Ajedrez. ¿Dónde es? Motilla del Palancar, Cuenca, España. No. Cerca de Valencia, puede ser. No lo sé. Non lo sé, tío. Motilla del Palancar. Cuenca, España. No conozco Cuenca. Verdad, verdad. Okay. So, let me go for just 1 minute pause. I will be with you in just a moment, and very good job for first round. Ahora, hablo un poquito español ahora. Vamos a ver los momentos más importantes de, del partido. Adri ha ganado bien contra un adversario de 1500, pero no es nunca fácil ganar contra el adversario teóricamente peor. Ahora que 4 y 5, la estrategia de las blancas era de cambiar muchas piezas, creo. Pero con paciencia la Adri le ha dejado ver que no es tan fácil. No es suficiente cambiar las piezas por no perder contra el jugador más fuerte. Aunque alfil de 6, de 4, todo más o menos normal. Dama por D4, F6, caballo 2, jugada nueva, alfil G4, alfil F4, como de todo, con la estructura un poquito mejor de las negras. Ahora, rey F7, rey E2, caballo E7, torre D1, torre D6. De nuevo un otro cambio, pero la estructura negra ahora es mejor. Nunca de tan grave, nada de tan grave. Torre D8, H4, caballo G6. Mucho interesante esa, provocando un final de torre, pero donde H4 está muy débil. Ahora que no sé si era la jugada mejor. Comer, rey H6, C4. De nuevo. Por el ordenador, las blancas están mejor aquí. Después de F4. Nosotros decimos F4. Interesante. Torre 8. Interesante también. Torre D1, torre 6, rey 3, rey H5. Aquí rey F4. H6, torre G1, aquí más o menos equilibrada. B4 no era buena, la mejor era torre D1. Ok, van a empezar también. Ok, van a empezar la segunda en un momento. Perdonate un momento. Ok. Y nada. A4 era buena, torre D1. B4, torre 5, torre D1, todo normal. Usti. Aquí las blancas van a ganar pues de re E3, porque si jugamos torre E6, F4. Ah, qué mal, porque si no comes rey G6, C5, la actividad de la torre Ok, torre C. Pero bueno. No ha hecho eso. Aquí todo bien. Sino por rey H3, que ha perdido el partido. Aquí todo bien. Rey G3. Normal. Después todo bien. Torre F7 buena. ¿Qué pasa su rey G3? Rey G5. Claro. ¿Y dónde está el problema? No tenemos problemas. Ahora que vemos... Ok, I'll go back to English. As you can see, Adriana... GM. English GM. Blasket. Okay. We start with a serious game. He is probably not at the board yet. Let me... Let me just... Okay. We will try and see the GM, of course. There we are. We can cut this. Okay. We have a few moves. Adriana going with what I imagine is her repertoire, of course. As we are playing a GM. Good news, good to play these pairs. Really good. Okay, so we have d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3. Bishop b4. Bishop b4. Okay. So, what does she play? e3. This is called the... I think it's the Rubinstein variation. Right, just wants to develop. b6. Quite well known. Bishop d3, bishop b7, knight f3. Very normal. Knight e4. Interesting choice. I knew castles and d5. This was the line I would play with black back in the days. Okay, bishop b7, knight f3, knight d4. Trying to go for a slight sideline. Okay, Adriana plays queen c2. I was wondering what happens if we play short castles, because taking the pawn might be a bit risky. We plan to take here, so say knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, maybe even bishop a3. Okay, rook b1, and now if you castle, okay, not extremely important. Oh, queen c2, for example. So yeah, there are some problems, but okay. Adriana goes for a safe approach, goes queen c2. Nothing wrong with that. Bishop takes c3. Interesting choice. BC and F5. So you have quite an imbalanced position, and it is Adriana to move. So yeah. Interesting situation. What are the options for white? I imagine. I was wondering if d5 is an option. Ah, okay, she goes bishop a3. Quite sure of herself, Adriana is. For now, she's quite sure of herself. Bishop a3. So, okay, trying to stop black from castling, maybe. d6, maybe. What was the main move here? Okay, d5, never tried. Okay, castle, just playing natural. Bishop a3 is the second most great move. Okay. I expect d6 by black. Or does d6 allow d5? But you can always go take knight d4. Relatively tricky. And no. Black is a GM, so he plays queen f6. Very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Queen f6 makes sense. Wants to attack with queen g6 maybe. Getting an extra piece into the game. So Adriana taking her time to think of it. So maybe we just castle and accept life for what it is. Of course, we need to wonder whether g5 with aggressive intentions works. g5 with aggressive intentions. It's not that easy to deal with, but I would put my money on d5. Let us see. Yeah, even knight d5, d6, f3, this is another way, okay. So yeah, it looks like the most normal way to play would be castle short, and probably black might play c5 or d6. Otherwise, we don't have many useful moves. Unless you want to go h4. That weakens the e4 square a little bit, because when you go f3 one day, you'll have some holes. So also h4 weakens the king if you castle short, so I don't see many options, frankly. Okay, queen f6 is an interesting way to play anyway. Trying to get out of what is theoretical knowledge, and it has worked, of course. GMs know what they are doing. Adriana needs to be careful about her time usage, because this is not a standard game. It is still 20 minutes, and 20 minutes can finish quite quickly. So yeah, I would imagine castle comes. Maybe she's trying to figure out what to do against g5. If d6 instead. d6. I'm still quite attracted by this d5 idea, I have to say. Even though maybe this works less now. Take, bishop takes. c4, let's say. Bishop b2. Do we have compensation here with black? Queen g6. We might have a bit of compensation. Or not. Knight h4. Queen g5. The 5 knight d2 position can get crazy. Okay, of course this is completely not make much sense. Okay, queen f6. Do we have a move? Or is Adriana still thinking? We should have a move. c5. Okay. I don't actually understand this move that much, I have to say. What is the point of c5 if black just takes? Take, maybe? Bishop b2, knight e4, bishop g7, rook g8. Nothing to write home about, so c5. Bit mysterious to me to do this before having castled. Takes. What could be her idea? Anyone in the chat have an idea of what Adriana's idea is with this move? I'm a bit lost. I am a bit lost because if you take back with pawn, there is queen takes with check. With a queen exchange, which should be good for black. Okay, c5 takes. Is it intended as a pure sacrifice to castle? What is it? Black does not need to take the sacrifice. You can go castle as well.
It's not clear if this is worth it. Let me just check the engine. Okay, the engine doesn't hate it. What is the point then if it takes? Oh, okay. Rook b1, bishop c6, 95. Nice ideas we're seeing. And if castle was just castle, and black has big difficulties developing his queenside. Okay. Okay, so I underestimated this c5. This is a very interesting way to play. Takes rook b1. Oh, nice deep move. Creating development problems. Nice. Can we give it an exclamation mark? No, it's not possible. So yeah. Vote who will win. I'll go for draw. So yeah. Oh, so this has caught black a bit, because black is thinking now. Black is thinking after this moment. Let's see. Also, Adriana looks relatively comfortable, leaning into her chair, trying to understand what is going on. Let me also refresh the page a minute, maybe to work better. So yeah, we have a move also, queen g6. The best move, of course. Queen g6, threatening to take on g2. Of course, GM plays the best move. So, what to do, what to do, what to do. Ay, Zagamits. Let's go. Let's go, Adriana. Let's see. Rook g1. Rook g1. White does not want to castle anymore in this game. Interesting move. Rook g1. It could be a very good move, like it could be a not so good move, I guess. It all depends. The opponent looking at the other board, maybe something is disturbing him from what we're doing on the other board. Okay. Very experienced GM we have here, with the black pieces, of course. So maybe you want to go g4. Crazy as it sounds. Takes 95. Oh. Okay. Knight takes c5 by the GM. For anyone wondering, if you take, there's bishop takes f3. Wow. Is this good though? Probably is. Is the short answer to that one. And had Adriana seen it? Wait. Ah, okay. Also, if we go knight e5, there is knight takes check. Okay, knight takes c5 is a nice move. Nice move, because whatever, if you move this knight, there's an intermediate move, otherwise take. Using the pin. So what's your valuation here? Ah, double exclam. Double exclam. What a move. Ah, this is GM quality. Of course. GM power quality. Maybe these parents are brutal, yes. Maybe can take and play g4. You mean take like this? Take and g4, yes, but we stick with bishop, we have h3 or something. There's even bishop d1 here, by the way, which needs to be considered. Because if you take, I take. Bishop d1. Yes, it's a very interesting move. If you take, I take, and you still have your bishop and the rook under attack. And maybe there's no good way to escalate the position to your advantage. Bishop d1, yes, is a typical discovered attack or yeah, unpinning of some sort. Otherwise maybe g4 is good. Maybe f3 instead of h3. Oh, wait a minute, I see what you mean. Bishop f3, g4, bishop takes, and f3. That is smart. f3. This looks like it gains a piece. Very good tactical vision. So okay, bishop takes f3, g4. Bishop takes. There seems to be this f3. Then the position remains complex. She probably must go for something like that. Yeah, exactly. Probably not take on g4, because otherwise f3 is annoying. Maybe. Okay, again, there are unpinning moves like queen h6, which unpin the queen and attack something. Take. But here maybe we can even sacrifice a rook, I'm not sure. Going for some sort of desperate attack. I don't know is the answer. That looks fun. I'm not the one playing, you say. Well, you have a point. Otherwise in this position, white is also the one who's pinned. So, okay, we have 95, okay. Interesting position we were discussing. 95, 93, queen d3, queen f6. Alright. And maybe even now g4, I'm not sure. Because we are down a pawn. We might want to create something crazy. At least we threaten g5. And we could have some play. We've gone rook g1, so we're not casting anymore. Piol had us. Yeah, I mean, we're not casting. Might as well try this. So queen f6, g4 not played yet. Also, white needs to be careful about their time situation. Needs to be careful about that time situation. And what does she do? She goes g4. Nice. Nice. Black can't castle. Okay, let's say black goes d6 here. We could still go g5. We could still go g5. Queen d8 doesn't get into the pin. Knight c4 is first, and now maybe bishop a6. Okay, knight c6. Question was, what happened on d6? Was there queen b5? Because truth is, the knight does not have that many squares, and if you go knight c4, maybe have bishop a6. Why did he not go d6? Okay, knight c6, just worrying about development though. Yeah, exactly. Queen b5, c6. Yes. But okay, knight c6, a normal developing move. Making a threat of taking on e5. Forcing further simplification. Knight c6. And here the computer wants to take with the pawn. Incredibly. And then castle long. But otherwise, he played a more simple move. Bishop takes. GF. And I expect EF. Yeah, queen a6 is a move, yes, but it's not really... It's not winning or anything, queen a6. Doesn't threaten huge problems. Okay, we have d5 here. d5, expect bishop b7. Of course you could take, but this looks very strange. Queen c3. King e2, no, this makes no sense. Of course, you go bishop b7. And play the position on pawn up. At least, yeah. Oh, you mean queen a6? Oh, okay. You mean to stop castling? Yes, this is an interesting move. Problem is that the queen might be a bit out of play. Like if I play, maybe I'll just go d6, castle short, and then try and attack with f4. Queen might be a bit out of play on a6. d5, okay. Also, bishop b5 is actually a move. This is a more serious move. Because queen b5, queen c3. King 2, queen a3. Problem is there's rook g7 here. I wouldn't go to that. I would stay humble and go bishop b7. But let us see what the GM chooses. Thinking a bit he is here. On d5. Probably considering some of the captures. Both quite concentrated. Adriana does have some chances. You say he doesn't look comfortable. Ah, you mean queen c4 check, but there is d5 and queen protects the bishop. Yes, you are right that we might have some undefended pieces in that line. He doesn't look comfortable. I don't know actually. These GMs, like, it's very difficult to get them in a tough spot. Okay, what's the problem with bishop b7? You want to go d6 or what? Is he trying to check if something like this works? Also, bishop a4 is move. Looks just like a strange move, but it might be a move, but it's very strange. Otherwise, I don't know. Other options, I don't know. You don't expect the old guy to blunder. Let's hope he blunders, but I do agree with you. There's too much experience. 2460 GM, I mean, he's of course very good. Let's see. 2460 rapid, 2335 standard, 1960. He has been a GM for 40 years. He became a GM 40 years ago. That already says something. And his peak rating in rapid was 2565. Quite a strong player. And he goes bishop b5. Bishop b5. Okay, queen takes and queen takes c3. Queen takes and queen takes c3. And what's up? Let me just refresh the page a minute. Queen b5, queen c3. Ah, you say, you saw it. Yeah, I was trying to understand the point though, because if king e2, what's happening after king e2? You have to take the bishop? Yeah, I mean, this... Do you want to castle long? Does he want to... Unclear. Unclear. Guys, bishop b5, I think I would just take it. And not think about it too much and then see. Queen c3, king e2. Maybe d6. Where do you mean rook b1? When? Or maybe d6 is good. Okay. So here you mean? Okay, I'm not following. D6 here. And what happens if queen takes? Or do go rook d1? You want to go rook d1 or something? Okay. Fair. Queen e6. Rook g7, and there's always this castle long resource. Queen a6, king b8, black is fine. 1 minute for Adriana. Her king is, I mean, not exactly super safe on e2, but okay. Okay, she went to rook takes g7. I expect castle long. I don't see anything else. You're trying to be positive. Yes, you are right. Positivity is very important, and we will need quite a bit of optimism and positivity to save this game. I mean, a pawn down and less safe king and 10 minutes rest, playing with 1 minute. This is a big important situation. Nice simplification by black. I imagine castle long. Yes, castle long has arrived. Queen b3. Queen b3. Adriana needs to exchange queens because, of course, she has the weaker king. Queen b3, good move. I think you have to do something like that. But, okay, interesting to see how the GM treats the position here. What would you do, chat? Exchange queens with black or not exchange queens? What would you do, chat? Black is thinking. Me personally, I wouldn't exchange queens just because I'm not sure about rook end games with a bit of activity here, but I agree that it should be winning. My point is though that as I have an advantage of time and to save a king, I might be tempted to just play queen c5 or something, trying to keep the situation a bit open, as I think black benefits from the queens being on the table. But let us see what the GM does. So, Piodas, you're more of a technical player, I see. Yes, queen takes b3 of course is possible. I mean, you take, and maybe go a5. But I can try and get a bit of activity out of the situation, maybe. Maybe it's not enough. b5, rook f7, for example. What's the evaluation here? Queen b3. Yeah, actually it says that after taking a queen it is equal. Exactly, goes queen d6. Maybe even better than queen c5. Hitting h2 because, well, I think that when thinking about do you exchange queens or not, one of the most important things you need to take into consideration is king safety. Here, of course, white's king is less safe than black's king, so black probably wants to keep the queens. It's a good move, queen d6. Looking at queen e5. Okay, a4 is a desperate move. And also there is a double attack on the two rooks. Not a problem, you can go rook g1, of course. So a4, a5. Very good move again. Preventing all sorts of counterplay. Black is. I love a5, I have to say. It's just because one of the principles of good technique, good conversion of the advantage is take away your opponent's counterplay. So a4, a5. However, automatic is good. Because if you had taken h2, for example, then a5, you open the line, of course you're 2 pawns up, and you're probably winning here as well, but needs some precision. Instead a5 just stops everything. Rook c1 is a good try, maybe. Rook h e8, and now she's going for f4. If you take h7, which has been done, I imagine f4 is going to come, or queen g6. I'm fascinated by how the GM is going to try and win this position. You see f4, and now he's going for the king. Queen c4. Okay. Very low time, yes. This might just be the deciding factor at the end. fe3. And look at how the king is getting opened. You have to take. And what now? Maybe rook e5. King b7. Again, seems like black is doing some good prophylaxis, you know, stopping any idea of queen b6, is calmly improving the position. Rook h4. Okay. I like king b7 again. Yeah, she played well, and it's just the GM, you know, the GM strength, which is difficult to face. You can't really do much. Now rook e8, I think. e4, okay. Rook h5. And now, of course, the weak king is going to pay the price. Now, good job by black. All this, you see, prophylaxis. b6, a5, king b7. Calm, and then once we have stopped any sort of threat on the king side, we win. I would have planted my king 4 times and even more with 1,000 euro. Fair enough. I'm sure there are many people who are with you in this. I'm sure there are many people who agree with your point of view. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not yet over. Bishop b5, yes, and denying exchange of queens. Yeah, I played well. Now just to put the finishing touches, rook h3. Again, patience, maybe wanting to go rook h8, I don't know. Very patient, rook d3. Rook h2. He takes now, okay. Queen h2, king e3, rook f8. Threatening mate in 1. Threatening mate in 1, you need to go rook d2, I think. And now, after rook, okay, she goes king d4. And queen h8, of course. Getting the king. Yeah, it's funny, but it's also instructive because it doesn't let the king run away. King e3 forced. And now a move I like is queen e5, just centralizing.